I'm here today in a little cemetery in Jackson County, Ohio. I want to tell you a story of a pretty amazing man. His name was Thomas C. Woodson. Thomas Woodson was born in 1790 and died in 1879. Thomas was born in Virginia, and his wife Jemima was also born in Virginia. At the time when Thomas was born, the politics and the morals of the day was much different than what they are now. And so Thomas could never take the name of his real father because his mom and his dad was not married. His mom basically was a concubine. The other woman, I guess, so to speak. However, the thing that we need to know about Thomas Woodson and his mother and his family was they were slaves. Thomas C. Woodson is the firstborn son of President Thomas Jefferson, and his wife Jemima lays beside him here in a little cemetery in Jackson County, Ohio. That's 327 right down there below me. State Route 32, the 4-lane over there. To this direction is the village of Berlin Crossroads. And just to about a half a mile down the road that direction is the General Mills factory where they make pizza rolls and pizzas. After Thomas Jefferson's wife had passed away, he was appointed ambassador to France. President George Washington needed someone to go to France to represent the United States, and Thomas Jefferson, being the man who wrote the Declaration of Independence, was a good candidate for that. So Thomas Jefferson went to France, and he had young daughters by his wife who had died, and he needed someone to take care of them. So Thomas took his slave. Actually, it was Jefferson's wife's slave. She had inherited this slave woman from her father, and so Thomas inherited or owned this slave woman after his wife died. This slave woman that Jefferson's wife owned was actually her half-sister. Her name was Sally Hemings. And so Jefferson's wife owned her own sister. And so Jefferson took Sally Hemings with him to France to take care of his daughters. And because she was fair-complected and light-skinned, she looked like Jefferson's wife. And so Jefferson fell in love with her. And because of the morals of the day and the politics of the day, Jefferson couldn't make her his wife. So he done the only thing he could, and he never remarried. And him and Sally Hemings basically were lovers and raised children together until he died. And after he died, she was set free. Some of his other slaves were set free. But when they came back from France, it's not clear whether Thomas Woodson was already born or not, or whether she was just pregnant with Thomas or not. But when Jefferson started running for president, his advisor said, "You need to get rid of that boy. He looks too much like you. We don't want a national scandal. Get rid of him." So Jefferson sent Thomas to his cousin's plantation, and his cousin's last name was Woodson. So when Jefferson sent his son over to his cousin's plantation, his cousin had a daughter by one of his slaves, and her name was Jemima. And so Woodson allowed Thomas and Jemima to marry, and when they married, he gave them their freedom. Woodson stayed around Chillicothe for a while, and some of his younger siblings followed him there, one of them being Madison Hemings. And Madison had taken the name of his mother and her last name. And so Madison is the progenitor of several Ross County residents who trace their history and their roots to Madison, who was also a son of Thomas Jefferson. But Thomas Woodson ended up here in Jackson County, Ohio, and he purchased a 200-acre farm. So there is some speculation that Jefferson actually gave Thomas some money, and that he had some money from his father to purchase a farm. And he purchased the property where we're standing here now, about 200 acres. And at one time after that, he had purchased several hundred more acres in this area, and where the and in the village of Berlin Crossroads, some of Jefferson's children lived there. And Thomas Woodson became a major conductor on the Underground Railroad before the Civil War. So when John Hunt Morgan came through Jackson County in 1863, he may have been actually looking for the individuals who were running and helping escaping slaves. There may have been a hint that there was people here that was doing that. Woodson was still alive. He didn't die till 1879. So he would have been here during the time when John Hunt Morgan came through this area, and John Hunt Morgan actually became entangled in a battle just across the highway from here, and was held up for 4 hours by the 73rd Ohio, and before he finally escaped on east towards the Ohio River, towards Buffington Island. And so Thomas Woodson would have been here and lived here and would have heard the gunshots, the cannon. His home may have even been raided by some of Morgan's men. But there's one thing about it. Thomas Woodson and his wife Jemima were remarkable people. They endured a lot. They were born into slavery. They ended up here in Jackson County, Ohio, on a farm of several hundred acres, and they helped other slaves escape to freedom. And Thomas Woodson, the firstborn son of the President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, and one of the authors of the Declaration of Independence. That's who Thomas Woodson is. He needs to be remembered, and we will remember him. You have a good evening. I'm Old Man History, Lee Baxter.